Hi guys, welcome back to Not PC with Rob and myself, Mark Ellis. Rob, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself? It's been a while.
It has been a while. The most inconsistent podcast on the planet, but we can't all be Joe Rogan, can we? What have you been up to? It's been ages.
It's just been work. I've had a bit of a tricky situation, actually. So I work for, as you know, I work for quite a big global company. The problem with working for big global companies is that the world economy is not in the greatest shape, is it? And so companies of the size, the one that I work for, are just shedding staff in the tens of thousands. So the company I work for shedded 30,000 people. But we don't know who. So they've been doing it in waves by country. So I'm currently awaiting my fate. So I may very soon be asking for a job.
Everything we speak about now after this is going to sound really trivial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the best news, Rob, to start with, but well, fingers crossed that it's good news for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I get the sack, I'll just go and do something else. It doesn't matter really. It's a pain in the ass, but yeah.
Prime Minister, that job might be up and going at some point. Well, fingers crossed that's good news. But you've got to
start a YouTube channel.
Start a YouTube channel, start a blog, start a Medium site, do some Instagram stuff, do some TikTok, etc. On that note, on that brilliant segue, I'm not wishing to kind of destroy your news, Rob. We do have a guest, as always, on Not PC. And the best way to introduce this particular guest is that he is one of the biggest... I nearly said influencers then, and we hate that word. He's not an influencer. He's one of the biggest tech creators on the planet. He lives in Telford as well, which I absolutely love because my sister lives there. And he's the only guy that I've shared a massage with. Guys, Nick Benton.
Hi, welcome. That was a lovely introduction. I totally forgot about the massage. That's brought back some lovely memories, Mark. Thank you very much for that.
And we won't go any further with that. We'll just leave it there.
No,
just for people to
it was our moment together, wasn't it? We don't need to share any more than that.
It was special. It happened in Bali, and that's all anyone needs to know. Nick is otherwise known as TA Tech Tips. And if you've got a phone, if you've got a TikTok account or an Instagram account, and you're into tech, you've probably seen this guy. In fact, you must have seen this guy. You're everywhere.
Well, I don't know about that. It's funny. It's a funny old game, isn't it, the old TikTok, especially the algorithms lately. We can go into that later. But yeah, you might have seen me. It's a decent-sized account. I do okay on those platforms. Keeps me busy.
Nick's very modest. How many followers, Nick?
If we're talking... I hate to blow my own trumpet here, but on TikTok, I think it's at it's 3.4 million. And Instagram's about 385k or something like that. But I'm trying to catch you up on YouTube, which I'm nowhere near. So you've got a big jump ahead of me there. YouTube is my nemesis, I'm afraid.
You will get there. You'll absolutely get there. Just quickly on the name, I know you have to explain this every time, but TA Tech Tips, is it worth just quickly explaining?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, I mean, I think about this name every single day of my life, every day of my life. But so when I started the account, just as first lockdown started, I was working for a company called TA Education who provide training in tech. So I started that. I was working as a marketing manager, and I started the TikTok account as just a marketing ploy to give some Excel tips, Word tips. Everyone was working at home at that point using Teams, and so because it was a company account at that point, it was TA Tech Tips. TA, because it aligned with the brand that I work for, and because it's developed and evolved into what it is, and the name is stuck, and I often think, should I change it? But then I think people don't really care what I'm called on these platforms, so I've stuck with it. The only thing is people often call me Tate or Ta Tech. People do struggle, especially American people. The Americans struggle with it the most, I think. But it's fine. It is what it is. I'm stuck with it now. But I just make up something now, like it's totally awesome tech tips or totally Android tech tips. But it's not. That would be a lie.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse. You could be Mr. Who Are the Boss, couldn't you?
That's very true. I mean, you look at some old email addresses. Yeah, thanks for watching. No, you look at some of the old Hotmail addresses you had years ago when you've got these really silly long names, not kind of thinking about your future. Where you've got I love well, yeah, won't be too rude, but yeah, it's like that, kind of a regrettable name. But it is what it is. I'm with it. It's there. People know me as TA Tech Tips now, so I'll roll with it.
I don't think it matters, does it? I think it just becomes the thing, doesn't it? It's who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I've put Tech Tips by Nick B in my bio, so people can know my name, because people don't seem to know who I am ever. Which is, like I say, people call me Tate a lot. I get called Tate, which isn't, and plus there's another bald guy called Tate who is not the most popular guy in the world, which I don't really want to be mistaken for. So I try and avoid that. But
we get a lot of the same comments, don't we, Nick, in terms of our hairstyle?
Yeah, I think I saw your podcast with Techspert, and we're just three bald, bearded, stubbly guys who all look the same. Anyone that's got stubble and no hair, we all look like the same person. So it's fine.
Upside down head. We should have got Chris on this, shouldn't we? Done like a three-way.
Oh, we should have the Egghead podcast or something. Yeah.
Imagine
that. The question of why are you bald comes up a lot on my comments. Why are you bald? I never know. I never have a really good answer for it yet. I'm trying to think of the best way to answer that. Why am I bald?
Still, the best one I ever had was grow some hair. I was like, oh yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah. I haven't thought about that. Next week, I'll do it.
Next time.
Oh well, the joys of the internet.
100%. How did you describe your content, Nick?
How would I describe it? It's kind of like very, I don't want to say throwaway, because that would kind of devalue, I feel like, what I do, but I just kind of give like real quick, short, sharp, bite-sized kind of tips on things that you can do on certain things. So I've kind of evolved a little bit, not just to do tips on so my bread and butter is like Samsung tips, because Samsung is kind of my daily phone, so I know that phone like in and out, inside out. But it's just like short kind of, because it's TikTok, I have to do it normally under a minute, just short bursts of tech information. Don't really tend to review stuff. It's kind of like product showcases if I've got products to talk about. But it's mainly just like really accessible tips for people that are using the phones, especially Android users that might not know features exist. So I kind of just try and show that in ways that are easy to follow, I think, without any frills as such, because it's just me in this room and I don't really have anyone fancy editing for me. So it's just things that people can do themselves, which seems to resonate, I think.
It's hard work, that sort of content. It's a real skill. I think, like I've said to you before, that you can definitely tell it's you straight away. You've nailed that kind of, it's another Nick video in a good way. I think that's quite hard. And I think it's a very important thing to do on short form, probably more so than long form. You've got to be immediately recognisable as the guy who does whatever that thing is.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's maybe why I struggle with a little bit of the long form on YouTube, because I'm so ingrained in that short form content space and getting my, the hook straight away, getting people interested in the video straight away. I find it hard to kind of make it longer without feeling like I'm boring myself. But yeah, I mean, it's funny like I said at the start, the algorithm has changed so much over the last 6 months with TikTok, and sometimes I think, oh God, I need to change the way my style is because people aren't watching it as much. But it is what it is, and yeah, I feel like I don't want to just chase views. That's the kind of biggest thing that I've not wanted to do on the account, just to do stuff just because to go viral, because it's not about that. I think other content creators have talked about this with TikTok. If your plan is just to go viral all the time, you're not building an audience, you're not building a community of people who want to come back and watch. So I'm comfortable now with kind of lower views than they used to be, rather than have like instant hits and stuff, which is nice to have viral posts. I'm not going to say that I don't like having millions and millions of views on stuff, but it certainly changed over the last 6 to 8 months, something like that. But yeah, it can be hard work, just because I'm kind of constantly worried that am I going to run out of tips and content to give, but I haven't to this point, so I'm all right at the moment. I'm still ticking away.
There's always a tip somewhere, isn't there? Rob knows all about Instagram because he's an Instagrammer now. Got him on Instagram about 3 months ago.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. You loving it?
Yeah, you made me. So I've avoided. I, as a rule, I try not to get involved with the social medias. But you told me that Ben's reels were so good, it was worth giving all of my personal information to Mark Zuckerberg. So I did. Although, I mean, to be fair, as you know, I've previously invited Mark Zuckerberg into my house and to sit on my face because I'm a Quest 3 owner. So he's already he's already
a part of you.
Yes.
There's the show title.
So yes, but you'll notice that I haven't posted anything except, I don't know, have you looked at my Instagram page and seen what my
To be fair, am I even following you? I hope I am.
I'm not sure. No offence taken if you're not, because I wouldn't know. I'm not checking. I only go on and watch Ben's reels.
I mean, Ben's reels, if Ben's the person who creates your reels, I imagine, Mark, but your reels and your short form content's always nice. I like, especially, I think one that stands out you did a few months back with your Motorola stuff. I mean, finally you did a Motorola video. There's so many teasing ones that you brought out. I was buzzing to see the actual final one, but that was really good. Like, some of your short form content is really good and engaging too.
That's very kind of you, thank you. Coming from you.
No, it is, genuinely.
Although Rob was actually referring to Ben, lover of tech.
There's a compliment there somewhere. Right? Yeah, Ben's lover of tech. Ben, he's equal to it as well. Yeah, for sure.
He's Hollywood, isn't he, in terms of his stories? But right, Nick, let's talk a bit about you in terms of your gear. And
hold on. Did you go and look at my Instagram page yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm intrigued now.
Partly because I can't remember what the what's your handle.
It's actually quite nice, Rob.
I could have guessed that, couldn't I?
I need to see this as well.
I do follow you. That's good.
Oh,
there's one post.
Any context behind that, or just because?
Well, it's a visual reference to the time that Ed Balls, because that's a picture of Ed Balls, the time when he signed up for Twitter. I think he meant to search for his own name, but his first tweet was just Ed Balls. So I've got one post on Instagram, and it's a photo of Ed Balls as a tribute to the time that Ed Balls posted his own name on Twitter back in the day when it was still Twitter.
You've got 5 followers, Rob. 5. So you're catching Nick up.
You've got to start somewhere.
God, we've all got to start somewhere. You need to be more consistent, though, rather than just posting one photo of Ed Balls. Anyway, on to Nick. Yeah. Nick, let's talk about tech and you and all that stuff.
Okey-doke.
I hate this phrase, but what's in your daily carry?
I'm strictly like Samsung, so the S25 Ultra is my daily carry, is my daily driver. Just mainly because I love swapping phone. Because we get sent a lot of stuff, don't we? We're very fortunate to get sent a lot of devices. So it's hard. I mean, Techspert talked about this as well, but he swaps constantly, doesn't he? And I can't do that. I like to have a base phone and then kind of try out phones as I go along. And especially with kind of the content that I use, like most of my tips are Samsung stuff. So my daily device is my S25 Ultra, which I'm really happy with. So that's what I use every day. But there's a lot of phones that I set up, like the Nothing phones. I always feel like I want to use a Nothing phone, just because they're so different to a Samsung. So I've especially with a few chips coming up, I've got to set a few phones up to take with me. But Samsung's my daily, and then kind of whatever I get sent around that, I'll have as a second device just to play around with, which I tend not to set up fully, just so I can use the features and talk about kind of the stuff of the phone. But that's where it's at. But there's so many phones that I could switch to, but I choose not to.
Why the S25 Ultra as opposed to the Fold 7, which is the current sort of king of Samsung phones?
I just found, the Fold, it's a fantastic phone, but I found, for me, the novelty wore off pretty quickly folding it all the time to access stuff. So I was just looking on the main screen. So I just felt like it's and I like to use a case, and I like to use a pop, get into pop sockets and all that stuff. But it just became too much of an intrusive device for me to carry all the time, and I just wasn't using it as much as I should, just because it's such a fantastic beast for your productivity and multitasking. But I just wasn't doing that, and then I think, at the minute, I'm trying not to use my phone at night time as it is. And I feel like if I had a phone where I could watch TikTok or social media and then do other stuff at the same time, I would waste my life looking at my phone. So it was more of a conscious decision not to switch to it permanently. Although, I'm not going to deny its power. It is a brilliant phone, but just wasn't for me. I'm not into folds and flips. I see the appeal, but just not really for me, I think. And plus, again, going back to how I present my content, I kind of just have to hold my phone in front of my screen to show the tips. Whereas if I've got a big folding phone, I would find it difficult to do my organic content, which probably sounds like a bit of a poor excuse, but that's how it is.
No, it's good. I mean, particularly as you're going to have a brightly lit environment, and the Fold 7 does not have the frankly magic anti-reflective display that the S25 Ultra has, which is it's witchcraft. Every phone should have that.
Yeah, I found it really difficult when so without just going, well, when we went to Unpacked in New York, we went. Were you on the graffiti tour section, Mark? On this, or that? We were on this, like, were you doing your yoga that day? I think you were doing your yoga. You were
running around doing stuff.
But they took us on this photography tour, which was amazing. So we were there to take pictures, use the camera, and use Circle to Search. But the problem was, because it was so bright, you couldn't see the screen half the time, and because we were out in the sun, the phone would get hot, and then naturally the software would dim the screen. So it was really tricky to be out and about with this phone taking photos. So yeah, you're right with the reflections and the bright screens. It doesn't quite hit the mark.
Oh, it's even worse, the auto dimming in bright sunlight on the Fold 7, because it's so thin it overheats very quickly.
Really quick.
Yeah. I had another question. What were you saying? So you use the S25 Ultra.
Yep.
You choose that over the Fold 7, but you really like the Nothing phones. That's what I was going to ask you about. Is as industry insiders, it's a bit early in the refresh cycle currently, but with the current RAM crisis, how do you think that's going to affect the sort of mid-tier budget end of the market? So this thought was triggered by you mentioning Nothing, because I know Carl Pei has been very vocal about do not expect the kind budget of phones that we've been putting out because the RAM is ludicrous.
Yeah. I think, talking about Nothing specifically, I think I've had this conversation before. I got a bit worried about Nothing during the last couple of launches, that they were starting to lose their identity a little bit. And putting prices up, because I think one of the main key factors of a Nothing device and the way that they kind of sell so well and the appeal there is the low price point. So I think a lot of these budget phones, the mid-range phones and the CMF phones and that kind of device, I think they might struggle. I mean, I don't listen to the noise too much about what phones are going to cost until I get a device and and start looking into the prices. But yeah, I think some of these the unique selling points of the budget phones and the mid-range phones, especially maybe, are going to start having to put prices up, and then how do they start competing? So like, I think I've had a conversation before about I love OnePlus phones as well and Oppo, but like, how do they survive in certain regions and climates? I know Oppo haven't really been in the UK properly for a while, and they've just started to make a bit of a comeback. But yeah, I think if they start putting prices up, they're going to have to start competing with the likes of Samsungs, especially with the the base, maybe just like the base level phones, not the Ultras. So they might find it difficult. What do you guys think?
I don't know how it's going to play out, really. I think Nothing is the yardstick for this, isn't it? Because they've come in as the budget devices a little while ago. But like you say, Carl's made it very clear that's not going to last. Their next launch will be the big one, won't it? That'll be the big tell, I think, really, as and when that happens. I don't know how it's going to play out, because the whole RAM thing doesn't show any signs of improving at the moment, does it? From my knowledge, it's kind of
be interesting to see how Apple cope with it, because well, I haven't looked recently, but around the time that things were really kicking off, there's always been the Apple tax on RAM upgrades, RAM storage upgrades. It's always been silly, but recently it's been a weird situation where if you spec up an equivalent Dell with the same amount of RAM and the same amount of storage, it's now more expensive than what was previously Apple tax rates to upgrade the RAM storage. Apple are just eating it at the moment. Maybe because they can afford to, because they were already very expensive. Maybe they've just got this stuff stockpiled. They're quite happy to get rid of it because we're going to get some new M5 Pro chips soon. So there are all sorts of reasons for it. So this may well change when the M5 Pro comes out. The M5 Pro sort of refresh across all the things. But certainly at the moment, MacBooks are weirdly good value.
They are. It's really true.
And then what's going to happen with the next iPhone? Is Daddy Tim going to take the opportunity to bump the price up again? Because I struggle with this, because at the moment, if you want, so you can pay a lot more than iPhone money for an Android phone if you want a bendy one. Or if you want, a flagship tier equivalent, you're paying roughly the same, maybe even a little bit more, because the price for an iPhone Pro Max versus an S25 Ultra, it's more or less there's the same sort of ballpark. So I'm wondering how Apple are going to deal with this.
Well, there's talk of this split launch, isn't there, for the iPhone this year? With is it the regular iPhone not coming until next year? And we get the expensive Pro and Pro Max this year, and maybe a Fold if that appears. Who knows? And then the kind of regular, and I guess the E version the year after. I wonder if that's partly due to a kind of belief or hope on Apple's part that the RAM thing is going to have settled down by then and prices will have come down. I don't know. It's fascinating, isn't it? I can't see it impacting the Mac personally. I think Apple have got that sewn down in terms of their supply chain, and they're not immune to this, obviously. But I don't know. Again, we could be surprised, couldn't we? Who knows? Maybe the next MacBooks will be really expensive, but they're very good value at the moment. But for the exact reason that you just said, Rob.
I've just bought a MacBook.
Well,
After I'm blaming peer pressure. That's what I'm blaming.
Well, so very quickly then. So S25 Ultra phone. Just quickly, headphone. You've got a pair of Bose on your head at the moment.
So yeah, I'm using the new Quiet Comforts, the Gen 2 ones.
Yep.
So yeah, I've had these a couple of weeks now. Yeah, sorry, the Ultras. Yeah, a couple of weeks now. Yeah, they're fantastic. Like I'm going to go a couple of trips coming up. I can't wait to kind of test them, like the noise cancellation properly on like airplanes and stuff, because the last couple of trips I've been on in environments like the airplanes I've had some Sonos ones. I've got my Sennheiser True Momentum ones, and there's some really good headphones. But these like super comfy. It sounds great. Noise cancellation's really strong as well. So yeah, I'm going to take them away with me and see how I get on. But so far so good.
Nice. Watch. I don't think I've seen you wearing a smartwatch. I love watches. Like I really love watches, and I try and wear them, but I just get like I just look at it for the time, and I just think, what's the point? And because I don't go into all the fitness stuff, but like I really wanted to, like I love the Pixel Watch 4. It was the last Pixel Watch. Like I thought that was a lovely looking watch, a really comfortable watch. Really, I love the rounded bezels and all that stuff, and OnePlus. I've got the new OnePlus watch, but yeah, I'm not really a watch guy. I've got the Samsung watch in the drawer just next to me, not being used. So I should wear them. I should, like even like the smart rings and stuff. It's not something that I chase. I don't think.
Any other sort of fitness wearable? Any Whoops or any of that nonsense?
No, I don't. I just I don't really care enough about about how many steps I'm taking. To be honest, I know it sounds like so yeah, it might be so blasé about it, but I think when I'm like, if I was like my every year I'm like, I'm going to get into cycling this year, or I'm going to start running again this year, and the whole like trainer side of things where you can have a coach on the app to help you run and stuff, that does appeal to me, but like I'm not going to start running in the winter. I'm like a proper fair weather fitness person, so any fitness I'm going to do is either going to be in the summer or inside somewhere, because I don't want to be running in the rain. Because historically I was into my sports, big into football when I was younger, so I was fit and healthy. I'm still fairly fit and healthy, but yeah, I like, especially with the Whoop and stuff. I love the idea of it, but I think, what am I going to benefit from having one, especially spending that money as well? So I've just I've avoided that.
I think a lot of those health devices are more of a commitment than the health stuff itself. Like Whoop is a real job, in terms of like keeping on top of the data and making that investment in that thing worth it. You've got to really invest time in what it's telling you, and then you have one glass of wine and everything goes red the next day, and you think, "Sod this!" And
really,
oh yeah, it shames you into being healthy, I suppose.
Really? I mean, I did enjoy, like, so I've had the Samsung Galaxy Ring, and I've had the Ring Con. They sent me a ring as well, and I used them for a little while, especially to track my sleep. I was interested. The thing that intrigued me the most for the rings, especially, like I would never wear a watch to bed. I don't know why I would do that. So it was intriguing to find, look at the benefits of the health and how I would kind of navigate and see how my sleep patterns were. But it was just good every night. So I thought, well, I'm not really kind of getting retaining any information because I sleep quite well. So. There's so much benefits to these health stuff that everyone, like, so many people should benefit. Like, I'm not downgrading the benefits of all this. It's just, for me, I wouldn't use it for its potential. So spending the money on all these health apps and watches and rings, it would just be a bit of a waste of money for me. Unfortunately, because I'd love the idea of it.
Where do you sit on 8 sleep? So that, as I'm sure you're aware, it's like a mattress topper that gives you all sorts of sleep metrics, but also can dynamically change the temperature of each side of the bed if you have a partner who likes, a really hot bed or a really cold bed, and you can't agree on what's going on. Then that's quite useful, because you've got one, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, we've got one.
Do you still use it?
Yeah, I'm convinced the main selling point is what you've just mentioned, the having a different temperature either side, because invariably one of you wants it 8,000 degrees and the other one wants it as cold as winter. But for that, it's amazing. We don't tend to, again, engage with all the data because there's just so much of it,
So it's still working.
Snoring,
hasn't needed any maintenance or anything, because I do worry about having a bunch of tubes containing fluid, sort of lining my mattress.
Touch wood, it's been, I shouldn't say this, but it's been faultless.
So it hasn't started, no weird noises, no leaks. It just keeps you the temperature that you want to be.
It's been perfect. We're going to have a terrible night tonight, aren't we? It's going to go horribly wrong.
So I'm just curious to know Nick's thoughts on going that extreme on a mattress.
I think, like Mark just said, and you just said, I think the idea of having a temperature control for either partner, that appeals to me way more than anything else. That does appeal to me. But again, it's just, I don't have that missing in my life at the moment. Like, I never seem to, I don't struggle with my sleep, and I don't struggle with getting hot and cold in the nights. Although I went through a phase that I get into kind of deep into my health. I went through a phase having real bad night sweats a few months back, just waking up dripping with sweat, all of a sudden. So maybe I need a cooling mattress. So maybe that might be my next. But then again, I always think if I'm going to do a video on it, what angle would I do a tech tip video on a mattress? So maybe. Tricky, but the idea of that. Sorry, you
have to let the camera into your bedroom as well, which is a bit weird.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. But no, I think the idea again sounds good, but I bet they're quite expensive, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Certainly, several £1,000 plus a subscription.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
See, I get angry having to be an adult and buy a mattress. So spending a couple of thousands on a mattress topper, I don't know if I'm that adult enough yet. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so you're not into the quantified self. I've got that. What other tech can you not live without?
Can I not live without? Anything music related. So headphones. Even music platforms like my Spotify's and as such. But anything music related, like JBL, are quite kind to me. They send me bits and pieces every so often, speaker wise, because music is probably something that I really care about a lot. So. Anything that makes music...
Listening to rather than making.
Yeah, listening to for sure. Yeah, I'd love to be able to play and make music, but it's just bypassed me, unfortunately. But yeah, I love, I know Mark's quite similar with his music, but anything to do with, music is up there. So when I get a nice pair of headphones, I'm always really excited to try out headphones and different sounds and all that kind of stuff.
Nick's got one of the best tattoos ever. You don't have to show it, Nick, but you have one of the when I first met you, I immediately spotted it because I've never seen it as a tattoo on anyone before. I think you probably.
Oh yeah, no, I'm all layered up, but I've got it. So I've got Pink Floyd as my kind of my first musical love and the music that really kind of made me. I've always been a big music person, but I remember I was sat down by my dad with some headphones and he said, listen to this, and he put Time on by Pink Floyd in these incredible Bang & Olufsen headphones, and and I would just listen to this song and it just blew me away. So since that day I was only, I don't know how old I was, 13 or something like that. So Pink Floyd, I've got a big Pink Floyd album artwork sleeve, which is...
It's the Division Bell, which is why I love it so much. It's the most niche Pink Floyd tattoo. It's not just Dark Side of the Moon. You've gone for the Division Bell, which I love.
There's a plethora of Pink Floyd references there. Yeah.
Great
laptops.
I know the purists discount it, don't they? Anything post Waters, not interested. I think it's one of the best. I love it.
It really is.
Post Waters isn't my bag either, as it happens. I think I agree there. I agree. I mean, he's a controversial figure these days, Roger Waters. Unfortunately, he's very polarising. But musically, he was he was certainly a valued member of that band for sure.
So you're wearing the latest Bose Quiet Comforts. Is that just because they're new and you're sort of road testing them, or are they your current favourite pair of headphones?
A bit of both, really. So, like I say, I've been using the Sonos ones as my daily headphones for months now, just because they are so comfortable. They were just a really comfortable pair, and they're lightweight.
What do you think of the sound, though? Because there's no denying they look fantastic.
Yeah,
I haven't tried them on, but they look very comfortable. But I know the Sonos sound signature isn't for me, but I'm curious how you got on it.
It's compared to, like, I think I might be in a different room, but the compared to the Sennheiser True Momentum, is it the True Momentum 4s? Maybe I think they're called, which I let my partner use because she's big into music, so I let her use those. They don't compare to that. I don't think the sound quality isn't quite as good, but because I've got them on all day editing or recording, I wanted a pair of headphones that I could casually wear, easily wear without kind of getting ear fatigue. But I think these are going to be my new dailies, I would say, at this point.
Just because really upped their game in terms of the look, haven't they? Because Bose have always been very utilitarian. You can't argue with their noise cancelling; that's always been top notch. The sound signature is a matter of taste, but it's not bad at all. If you really like your bass, really good for EDM, that sort of stuff. Yeah. But those look really classy.
Yeah, they surprised me. They wanted to send me the purple pair, but I said no to that. But which I had actually seen them in the flesh, and the purple pair are quite nice. But yeah, the colour combos and the signatures and the way they're designed, they are nice. I mean, I think this is my first pair of Bose headphones for a long time, so I don't really have a big point of reference with Bose because I've only kind of started to do the headphone stuff like properly over the last year or so. But I've been impressed. I've been impressed so far. I do like them.
Yeah. Sorry for keep going
now.
Sorry, Mark. I'm just speaking out on sound. Yes. Yeah.
No, that's all right.
I want to know. Why now? Why have you got a MacBook?
Well, the reason, just very quickly, if I just quickly set this up, because I remember was it Prague, Nick? It was on the press trip, wasn't it? And we were sitting down having a beer, and Nick was basically surrounded by myself, Ben, lover of tech, Adam Butcher, Asbit, and Techspert, Chris Barraclough was there as well. And everyone apart from Chris, obviously, was basically saying to Nick, why are you still using a PC? You have to get a Mac. And we're basically bullying him. And Chris was sitting there saying, well, you can imagine what Chris was saying about the Mac. He was very much in support of Windows. But the rest of us were basically goading Nick into getting a Mac. And I didn't think you'd do it, to be fair. And then about a month later, there was a video from you where a MacBook fell out of the sky into your hands.
It did, yeah.
You went ahead and bought one, didn't you?
I did a thing, yeah. Yeah, I think I got to the point where I was getting so frustrated using Windows. I did use a Mac briefly about 10 years ago for a little period of time, and I got used to it and I enjoyed it, but I've always been a Windows user. So I think it was more of I stuck to what I knew, but I was getting to the point where I was using Premiere to edit stuff, and it was just like crashing all the time. The fan was like all the time. So every time I was like recording, you could just hear the fan blasting out. And then the minute I turned the fan off to stop that, it would overheat and then it would crash. So I was just at my wit's end with it. So so after being bullied and the peer pressure, I just thought, to shut everyone up, I'll get myself a MacBook Air. So I got a MacBook Air, and as it happens, I actually really like it. And as much as I've got a bit of a thing on my account where I bash Apple a lot, and I kind of say silly things about Apple, and especially more particularly iPhones. But I can't fault the MacBook so far. I mean, the only issues I have is because I'm an Android-based person, getting stuff on and off my Android to the Mac. I found it quite a challenge at first. I'm trying to figure out the best ways to do that. And don't get me wrong, there's still niggles and a few things that I don't like, but yeah, I'm part of the Apple ecosystem all of a sudden. Yeah,
you made it.
I'm with it.
Have you gone full Apple, or are you just running Premiere on a Mac rather than a laptop?
Yeah, I'm using Premiere on it. Yeah, I haven't.
I picked the ideal time to switch because of Apple Creator Studio, where you can try out a proper editing app for. I don't know how much it is. How much is it?
Creator Studio, it's $12.99 a month.
$12.99 a month.
$129 a year.
So you can tell Adobe to stick it, get an app that works better, and be on your way.
Well, as it happens, I am looking to move editing software because I'm so basic. Because of the content I make isn't fancy and there's not many frills. I just use Premiere Rush. Like, I'm that basic, and even that was struggling on my Windows. But they're discontinuing Rush this year, so I am in the market for a new editing software suite. So yeah, maybe the Creator Studio could be on the cards this year. Maybe, I don't know yet. I've been recommended a few different ones, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, you got DaVinci, haven't you, as well, as an option?
Yes.
Oh, so I missed that. What was that?
Just saying, he's got DaVinci as an option as well. Because the thing is, with Creator Studio, you get
even Apple use DaVinci, don't they? So
Well, yeah. It depends how much stuff you need. But I think, like you said, Nick, you've been using Rush, haven't you? Which is that like a toned down version of Premiere? I'm not
exactly that. Yeah, you don't get like. I mean, I do. Even though it wasn't being even before it was being discontinued, I did have thoughts about moving along because I do want to. I would, especially with my plan. My plan's been for 2 years to make long form content, but to make a little bit more, better edited long form content. And I think it does limit you on Rush to just very basic stuff, which is fine for what I've been needing. But if I want to kind of move on to make some better long form content, I feel like I want to have the options to have the just things like having transitions and just keyframes and all that kind of stuff, which I can't do on Rush. And I haven't had the need to use it yet, but it's just learning. I've procrastinated learning how to switch to a MacBook. Now I'm going to have to learn to switch to a different editing software. So it's just like finding the time to learn it because I want to be able to do it straight away. But yeah, that is my plan.
How far along the road have you got to Android phone, Mac computer interactivity? What are you using to get your AirDrops and get your googly messages on your Mac desktop and that sort of thing?
So for purely the biggest bugbear, the biggest issue was getting the files, the video files, back and forth. But so I'm using an open MTP. So you can just literally drag and drop the files. You plug your phone in. It's an open source thing, and it transfers your files across quite quick. So that's worked quite well for me. But it was especially the first time I used it, and I was away at the time, and I was trying to upload this video to post when I was abroad. And I was just getting so cross because it was just not working. It would I plug my phone in and I thought, oh, it's just going to plug my phone in and I can just drag and drop my files like you can on a Windows computer. But no, he just I could see my images but not my videos. But I think I still probably am doing it the wrong way. There's probably still a more efficient way of doing it than I currently am, I would suggest.
Well, switch to Pixel because that's got AirDrop built in for a start.
That's true.
Okay. Or if you don't want to do that, then look at Local Send. So it's a free open source app called Local Send, which basically gives you Android to Mac AirDrop-like facilities. And if that's not quite good enough for you, try KDE Connect. So those are the two tips for you there.
KDE Connect. I think there was a reason why I didn't use that Local Send. I'm sure I definitely downloaded that app from at some point. But there was a reason why I didn't do it. But I will go. At the minute, it's working. But I feel like you say, I think there's a better way. So maybe I'll revisit that. But I'm still such a beginner when it comes to Mac. I feel like I'm really exposing myself as not a tech person on this podcast. I'm not into watches.
I do that all the time, Nick. Don't worry.
Oh well. But yeah, so yeah, I welcome the advice. So yeah, I'll look into that for sure. But yeah, other than that frustration, it's been so far so good. I'm impressed. It doesn't make any noise. The battery's it's the M4 I think I've got, and it's I've had no complaints so far. It's doing the job that I wanted it to do.
Did you
it's a big switch to
out,
make.
or did you just go? Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah. So did you go? Did you bump up any specs, or did you just dipping your toe in the water, just bought a pre-configure?
I think I've got is it 24 gig maybe? Does that sound about right? I think I've got that one. So yeah, I think I've just gone kind of just entry level, just to see how I get on at the moment. Especially because I'm only using basic software. I didn't think I needed to go too mad. And everyone I spoke to said a MacBook Air would probably do the job for you. And so far so good, yeah. So who knows what the future holds? But these tends to last quite a long time, don't they? They are quite hardy devices. So I think I'm probably stuck with this for the foreseeable.
Well, I got an M1 MacBook Air, So, when
Okay.
Apple Silicon first came out, and it comfortably replaced a Core i9 MacBook Pro from the previous year, just wiped the floor with it. And
Right.
I really want it to stop working so well so that I can justify getting a new one.
Anyone?
And I can't. I just can't. It will not shit the bed.
On break.
Yeah.
They will not die, will they?
That's good.
The battery life is still fantastic, and it's got the thing that it's always had, which is that from the start of the Apple Silicon era, you could put your MacBook into standby, come back to it 3 weeks later, and it'll still have 90%. You just pick up exactly where, and it's instant. You just open the lid, and you're back where you left off. And I don't know what the time limit is, but I've not found it yet.
Yeah. No, I have loved that actually. So yeah, previously I had an old, I think it was Asus, and it was a powerful laptop, but I'd open the lid, I'd open the top, and it would just 10 minutes later, still waiting for the welcome screen to appear. But yeah, the MacBook straight away, straight into it, brilliant.
It's just fan noise. Whenever I get a Windows laptop in now, no matter who's made it, it's just so noisy.
Yeah,
You hear it, you
really
think, what's
noisy.
that? I've
Yeah.
got
I was
MacBook Pro,
having-
which has got fans in it. I've never
Simply
heard the
not-
fans.
Not your Copilot machines, not your Qualcomm Snapdragon powered
Not
ones.
those, but the regular non-ARM laptops are just so noisy.
Actually,
But
on the
it's,
subject
having-
of that, what's going on in Windows land? Obviously Panos has left to go to Amazon, hasn't he? He's put out some crap Echoes and not really done much else since then, apart from get super pumped about Alexa Plus. But Microsoft have gone a bit quiet on the Surface front. I used to love a Surface launch, and it all seems to have fizzled out. as
You
far
do
as I
see
can
them
tell.
around. There's a guy in my gym who's always got a Surface laptop. Well, not laptops, sorry, a proper Surface with the kickstand and all that stuff. You do see them around, but I've not personally come across them from a reviewing perspective for a long time. No idea what's going on. Very strange. But you're in the right place now, Nick. You can forget about the past and move on, and like it never happened. I think that the problem
That's
with
it.
it, and the challenge I still have, having switched from Windows to Mac in 2005, I think it was, like 20 years ago, there's still elements of Windows that are in my head. Like certain, I can't even think what they are off the top of my head, but there's certain things I used to do with windowing in Windows that I still think I can do in Mac OS, and I can't. It throws
Right,
me
okay.
occasionally. So just to pre-warn you, those kind of learn Windows things that get into your head don't seem to completely remove themselves.
I'm still. Now you brought that up. So if you are frustrated with Windows, if you're used to like Power Toys or whatever on Windows, or just even the standard Windows snapping, there are various tools for Mac OS, but the one I use is Rectangle. So there's a free tier which you can use, and then if you really enjoy it and you want some more advanced functionality to set up sort of workspaces and stuff, so it'll detect when you've got particular apps open and then snap them automatically into place. It's really powerful, and it's like £8 or something, or it was when I bought it. Might be more now, but yeah, you can certainly try it out for free, and that has got some super nice window management functionality. And then there's Raycast. So Raycast is a keyboard app launcher where it's much faster than Spotlight. I don't know if you've been using Spotlight, where you hit the Apple key in space and then you can search your whole machine.
No, I haven't been. I'm aware of that, but I've not utilised that at all.
It sounds good. It looks good on paper, but then you use it, it's quite sluggish because it's trying to do too much. Right. They're trying to do some AI, and they're trying to work out what the most relevant thing you want to see is. And if you want to wait for that, maybe 0.8 of a second every time you make a query using Spotlight, it's fine. It'll get you your answers. But Raycast is instant. So so give Raycast a go. It essentially gives you a keyboard shortcut where you go in Apple key space. It'll bring up a search box, and then you can do calculations. You can run shortcuts. You can open websites. Open applications. It just puts everything that you want at your fingertips without having to move your hand to the trackpad or mouse.
Okay.
So yeah, as a new Mac person, those two things are
Raycast and Triangle. Okay.
Rectangle.
Rectangle. I should write it down.
Triangle could be something completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be. One of the biggest things I'm having to kind of figure out at the minute is like keyboard shortcuts. That's what I'm kind of struggling with at the minute, is like copy paste and whatever, anything kind of like where I'd use Windows V and access a clipboard and whatever it might be. That's what I'm struggling with, getting that kind of process out of my head at the moment. So that's going to be a learning journey for sure.
In the settings in macOS, in the keyboard settings, is one of the biggest, the best things about macOS is that you can set your own custom keyboard shortcut for any item in any drop-down menu.
Okay,
so if you're
perfect.
struggling to remember them, or you don't like what they are, go into the macOS keyboard settings, and then on a per app basis, it's literally you just type in the name of the menu item that you want to assign a keyboard shortcut to, set your keyboard shortcut, and it's done. And that's global, that's system-wide. You could do that for any app, any item on any drop-down menu across the entire operating system, which is incredible.
Perfect. Yeah, well, I'll be doing that tomorrow for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
No worries.
We could just talk about this all day, couldn't we? You giving me tech tips on Mac stuff. There you go. That's the Instagram page sorted right away. I'll follow you straight away. Just do Mac tips for me.
That's not a bad shout.
You're
TA Tech Tips for TA Tech Tips.
Exactly that. There's a market for it. I'm sure.
Definitely is. Nick, can you think what your favourite piece of tech was from last year?
Last year, I mean, other than the obvious 25 Ultra, because I use it so often, I got sent. It might have it here somewhere. I mean, this is it's a bit of a niche thing. But have you seen these Camp Snap Super 8 cameras?
No, I haven't, but I want one now.
So Camp Snap do these digital cameras, but without any kind of. There's no preview screen or window or anything like that. But their new toy is the Super 8 camera. So this is a digital Super 8 camera, which is, which you can have different filters, and you just point and press. So I filmed Christmas on this camera. The whole of my Christmas was on this camera because I wanted to kind of not just sit there on my phone and then put it away and never see it again. I've got to physically now go and get that footage and look at it because I don't know what I filmed. But this, just because it's so cool and just a bit different, I love this. But the only problem is it's just hard to carry everywhere with you because it's quite big.
Are those real analog audio meters on the side?
So that's your battery and that's your memory.
Well, either way, I can see it is analog. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's honestly Camp Snap. So they're not cheap, but they're not mega expensive either. Like I say, they do just a digital camera, just for taking photos as well. But this is their new Super 8 Camp Snap camera, and so yeah, brilliant. I just because it's different, and you don't see many. You don't see many of them. I mean, although it is, it's a backward step in technology in some ways, but I love that kind of nostalgic feel of having a camera in your hand to actually feel like you're filming something. So I love that. That was
Steven Spielberg, aged 8.
Exactly that. Yeah.
What does it record onto? Is it still recording onto SD card or something, or is it?
Yeah, it's just a micro SD card just underneath, and you just plug it. There's a USB-C. You plug it straight in, so it's kind of packaged like. Yeah, as it is, but yeah, it's good fun.
Nice.
It's my little girl likes using it. She likes going around having a little camera, so it's it's to make it a bit different. But like traditional tech, I mean, there's loads of phones that came out last year that absolutely I loved. Particularly, I think the phone that stands out to me last year the most, probably because of the trip as well, was the Poco F8 Ultra. That really surprised me. Just the camera, the phone itself, and I think again because we were in such a beautiful place, Bali, for the launch, it kind of the whole package just has really good memories of using this phone for the trip. So I've really enjoyed that phone last year. I don't know what you think about that phone, Mark, but like some of the pictures that we were taking going around on this phone that was like £400-500, like it was so impressive.
Yeah, with the Bose.
The Bose sound, yeah.
On the back, little speaker, incredible. It was genuinely one of the best sounding phones I've ever heard. Really impressive. I agree with that one. It was definitely a standout from last year. There were just so many phones, weren't there? There were so many releases. Yeah,
it was. It's a bit. Yeah, it's hard to kind of keep up. Like, I wanted to do an end of year review of my top phones, but there was like. A, everyone was doing it, so I thought, well, people won't miss me doing it. And B, there was just like so many phones that I could include, and I couldn't think about it. It was just there was too much to think about. But yeah, there's some brilliant phones. I mean, even the Huawei, is it the Pure 80 Ultra? I don't know if you got a chance to use that. The camera on that, I know like AI does a lot of the heavy lifting on that, but like the camera, like for a while, I was taking it everywhere with me just to take photos. Like that was so impressive. And then you got things like the Tab 11 Ultra that came out last year. That was a lovely looking tablet, which it's massive, but it's that was a good bit of tech. But there's been so much stuff going on, like so much. It's hard to remember everything. Like people ask me what my favourite phone is last year, and I genuinely sometimes forget like what I've had last year, or like I'll think about a phone from 2 years ago that I think was just like 6 months ago, but it wasn't.
And you just defaulted to the S24 Ultra with some bigger camera rings glued on. That's your option.
Yeah, I was easily sold. It was an easy sell, really. Yeah. Yes.
It's hard to remember
Guilty.
what you said about stuff as well, isn't it? Like, what did I say about the Oppo Find X9? Or,
which was an amazing phone as well, by the way. Yeah.
It was, yeah, to be fair, yeah. What's your favourite piece of tech ever?
Ever.
Classic thing. Desert island, you can only take one thing. What would it be?
Just one. Oh, I've got so many that I could pick. Like my first. So probably the thing that comes to my head first is my Sega Master System. Just because that was my first console, my first kind of major bit of tech as a kid, and like playing Alex the Kid, that was built into the system. Like having a Master System was like game changing. Like not many people that I knew at the time had Master Systems. They had like Mega Drives maybe, or an Atari or something like that. But like my Master System, I cherished it. I absolutely loved it. So I think that was like from a nostalgic point of view, I would say Master System was just Alex the Kid playing on Master System was just unbelievable. Loved it.
That was the Gen 2, wasn't it? That's one that I had as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Alex Kid and
Yeah,
Miracle.
tiny little controllers. You can actually get Alex the Kid on the PlayStation Network now, and I did download it about 2 or 3 years ago because I never ever completed it as a child. So like for years it bugged me that I'd never completed this game, because there was one level, I don't know if you remember the game, but where you're on like this motorbike across these spikes forever, and I could never get past this level. So like I made it my mission in life just to complete Alex the Kid, and I finally did.
It's just not the same,
my
is it?
My take.
I think when you get these not rehash, but like a emulation of it or whatever, it's not quite the same as that day that you first got your Master System and plugged it into your TV and.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know where I saw it, but the other day someone was talking about like people's attention spans and the way the younger generation are so different to us growing up now, because we didn't have we didn't have a save point on Master Systems. If you died, you had to start the whole game again. Now everyone can save at this point. They can have 5 lives. They don't die. Like if we died on a Master System, you have to start the whole game again. Like there was so much pressure to play this game. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
There's a big retro tech thing at the minute. I think we should finish on this. We haven't talked about current news. There's not a huge amount of current news we can talk. All we can do is speculate about what's going to come up next from various brands. But let's not bother with that. Let's talk about.
Let's ask that question then. What are you most looking forward to this year? So we've seen what your current favourite piece of tech is. We know what your favourite piece of tech ever is. Well, what are you most excited for this year?
I want to be excited. Because I'm a Samsung fan. I really want to be excited for the 26 Ultra. Like I really want to be hyped up for it. But I try not to take too much credence in leaks and rumours and all this stuff. But from what I've seen, I'm not sure like what the big jump's going to be, or if there's going to be a big enough jump for me to kind of like be like, wow, this is the best phone ever. But I'm always excited by Samsung, and I love seeing what they do, and I'm a Samsung person. But I think going back to kind of nothing as well, I'm interested to see what they do this year, given what they're going to do with their price points and what they're going to lose and what they're going to put on the phones to justify the price points. So I'm looking forward to seeing how people deal with that, the issues that we talked about earlier. So yeah, I think nothing and Samsung, but with the Samsung stuff, I'm excited to see this privacy screen that they're talking about, to see how that works, and whether it is just like going to be partial on the screen or the full screen or both or whatever it'll be. So that's interesting. But like, yeah, there's probably going to be so much like after this first quarter that I'll be kind of move on to the next thing and see how it goes. But yeah, there's going to be so much. So much, I think, this year again.
What do you think of the Clicks communicator? Has Vicky Fisher sent you one? Or are you not allowed to say?
Do you know what? It's funny because I've been bugging them on, like, I haven't got any contact details for them. So I've been messaging them on Instagram, like, hi, I'd love to work with you, or I'd love to check this out. And I'm just like, they just sent me a press pack saying, yeah, we love that. Here's all the photos of it. So that's as far as I've got with the Clicks communicator, but I would love to take a look at it because it's kind of like very BlackBerry-esque, isn't it? And BlackBerry was a big phone. I had the BlackBerry Pearl growing up and a few other different ones as well. So yeah, I'd love to take a look at the Clicks communicator, but I've got no contact with them as yet. So maybe I'll try and dig one out.
Remind me later, Nick. I had hands-on
I will definitely do that.
With a pre-production version at CES, and it was like a factory, whatever they call it, like a mold, completely unfunctioning one. But it was it's really, even one that's completely dead and does nothing was really exciting because it brought back so many kind of memories of the BlackBerry days. And I love the concept. I love the idea of it being stripped down, and there's something about that. Again, we keep swinging back to this. I do want to talk about retro tech before we finish again, because it's something which is really really got me at the minute. I don't know how you both feel about this, but quite a weird sort of lineage with this. So I had a Porsche Cayman to review, and it was the most analog car I've driven in the last 5 or 6 years. It had a radio. Okay. This was a 75 plate. It had a radio inside with a tuner button on it, a little flat SD cards, brilliant, and a terrible sat-nav system, which again was just brilliant. And naturally aspirated engine, so simple, and just kind of really took me back to those days. But it got me really nostalgic, because I'm struggling with the whole AI stuff at the moment. Everything we've talked about in the last 10 minutes, like you were saying, Nick, things didn't used to be easy. You had to start games again. There was no save points. There was no text box where you could now type in a sentence and have Alex Kidd in Miracle World in front of you running on your Mac, thanks to ChatGPT. I find it deeply boring, and everything's too perfect. And that car kind of made me think of things that aren't perfect, and that kind of, it set me down this kind of road of going down all this kind of retro stuff. For instance, re-digitizing my entire music collection.
I've seen you've been posting about this, haven't you?
Oh, I'm obsessed. I'm surprised I'm still with Jen. She's hanging on for dear life in this relationship. But I've spent the last 2 weeks washing CDs in the sink and peeling bits of things off them that have been kind of stuck on through 5 years of neglect, and putting it all back into the digital world in FLAC files and stuff.
Amazing.
And I'm loving it, and also it's taken me back to listening to music properly. So again, a bit like the gaming thing, playing games properly, listening. Is it? I know it's not just me, because I've had lots of comments on this, but are you two kind of doing anything similar to that at the minute?
The closest I've come, the closest I've come to that is I do every so often go through a phase of playing vinyls and listening to vinyls on a record player. But one bit of tech that I probably could have, if I didn't have to choose a master system, to go back to something that's nostalgic, is just like a Sony Walkman. I love the idea of having cassettes again, and I'm sure the sound would be really poor, but I love that idea of having a cassette in a little Walkman in my headphones, because that was my first kind of thing to have. Learning lyrics was recording and rewinding, and get the pencil in the middle of your cassette and that kind of stuff. So I do, I have thought over the last couple of months of getting a cassette player, and because I think who did I see? Tommy. I think Tommy's done some stuff with some cassette stuff lately. I'm sure he has. I don't know if I'm making that up, but I love the idea of that.
Gadgets Boy, for anyone else.
Gadgets Boy, yeah. Sorry. So that's the closest thing I can think of. The vinyl player is something that I do listen to, although since I've moved house, I haven't managed to find room for it. But the idea of what you've done is digitising and going back to nostalgic times. I mean, I follow this person on social media who talks about nostalgia a lot, being a 90s person. I often watch 90s programmes and feel really sad watching it, thinking that was such a time. There's a real thing about being sad about a nostalgic time, And I can't watch too many stuff about it because I'm like, oh God, that was such a time. I don't know if I think every generation looks back 30 years and thinks that's the best time of their life. I know that. But as a 90s person, being in that cusp of the tech really kind of pushing on and then being still quite basic and having to knock the door for your mates, not having phones until I was like 14. Yeah, I love that idea of being in that kind of nostalgic frame of mind. So I'm quite jealous of what you're doing for sure.
What about you, Rob? Are you doing anything at the moment retro? Well, you've normally got something retro going on.
I've not really had any time to do anything. But I'm generally a big fan of analog stuff. Like my fun car is a 27-year-old Ford, because it has got like rudimentary traction control, but not like the sort of modern systems. You can absolutely kill yourself in a 26-year-old car. Naturally aspirated. None of this turbo nonsense. Just very, very minimal, basic power-assisted steering. That's actually connected to the mechanics. So I enjoy operating machines. As you know,
you just sound really old. Is that my other worry with this? I just sound like an old fart.
Just three middle-aged men talking about old stuff. Yeah, no, but no, I think there is. I think, but like going back to that Super 8, like there's obviously an audience for nostalgia and going back a few steps with tech. People are re-exploring older technology.
Like the Clicks communicator.
Like the Clicks communicator. Yeah, I think everything's cyclical, isn't it? Everything does come round. You talk about music, going back to music, there's different styles of music, clothing, everything comes back around, and maybe we're seeing that with tech now. People are starting to revert back because, like I said earlier, like I'm going through a phase of just like not really watching anything at night time and being like, I'm just going to check my phone. I'll be watching a movie and I'll check my phone, and I really want to step back away from that. So like something like a phone with, like going back to like a Nokia 3310, like sounds amazing. Just a step back away from AI as well. I mean, AI is just really shoved in your face everywhere you walk and everywhere you talk. So, yeah, bit of traditional tech.
Have you guys heard of the Punkt phone?
No.
Punkt,
Don't think so.
I think it's pronounced, spelled. I saw that in Vegas, and that was working, and that was it wasn't like the Clicks communicator because it's a regular touchscreen phone, but it's completely pared down. So I think it's running a version of Android, very highly customized. But you literally have a list of phone calls, calendar, messages, and that's pretty much it. Everything's locked down unless you unlock it. No communication with anything unless you specify that it can communicate with it. And it was a really interesting and refreshing way to kind of use a device. You immediately felt a bit disconnected, but equally it was just refreshing.
You can do that with Niagara Launcher anyway on any phone. Why do I need to buy a Punkt phone?
You don't, do you? But then you've got to then go through the process of installing it, I guess. The point of these other devices, like the communicator, is you buy them specifically to be that thing, don't you? There's no way you can take that thing off and have them as a regular phone. I think that's a bit like getting a cassette deck, Nick, and sticking a cassette in. You can't turn that into something that can accept Apple Music or Spotify, can you? That's the thing. You're restricting yourself, aren't you? I love that.
I think.
Sorry, carry on.
No, you go. It's fine.
Oh no, I just remembered that I was going to show you something, wasn't I? At the beginning, before we started, you wanted to see it. It's going to be a massive letdown. It's not retro. No, it's very silly. So, like ages ago, you and we got all excited about retractable cables because what you need to know about me is that I cannot stand visible cables. I go to extreme measures to not see visible cables. Stuff gets run through walls. I've embedded invisibly Qi chargers on the underside of work surfaces, as in taking the work surfaces off, routed out a cavity and put them so that you cannot see either obviously you can't see the wire, but you can't see the charging pad either. So, so my desk right here, I can just put a wirelessly chargeable, capable device down and it just starts charging. And I've got those dotted around the house.
I love it.
So, yeah. However, there are times when you do need a cable and you just want to stir it out of the way. So for ages, Mark and I have been using these. And the thing about this is that it's got, multi prongs to cover your USB-C, your Lightning, and your micro USB. But everything I've got now is USB-C, so I don't need that anymore. So I've got a much more compact one,
Nice.
which is just USB-C, can charge up to 240 watts. So that's replaced the old ones that I used to have. But then Ugreen came out with this.
Always
This is a
Ugreen.
charger with a retractable cable built in. Look at that bad boy.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Is it a satisfying pull as well?
Oh, it's nice. It's really, yeah. Oh, it's the actual connector is magnetic. Hang on.
Oh, amazing!
Hear that?
Yeah, I can.
Look at
That
that.
is-
So
yeah,
yeah,
that
so
is-
this is a 45-watt GAN charger with a built-in retractable cable.
Oh, okay. That is, I like it.
That's great.
Yeah, Ugreen. Yeah, Ugreen. Yeah, I think you got the same. You got one of NAS Ugreen NAS things. Yeah, brilliant.
This is great. Yeah. They've
Really
got
useful.
that magnetic thing on their big chargers as well. You know, the big power banks. Really, something so simple, but just keeping it nice and neat and tidy. You let go of it, it just snaps in place. And
Yeah, that is satisfying. Yeah, the cable thing. Yeah, that's up my street with what you've done. Cables, like when you go to people's houses and you can see all the cables at the back of the TV. It's like, how can you relax and watch TV with like that monstrosity behind you? No chance. So yeah, I'm with you.
just looking at my desk over
Absolutely.
there, the right state at the moment. But that's allowed. We're
That's allowed. You can't see it. I can't see
hideous
it.
cables. You can't see it. Doesn't matter. It's not there. We have come up to time, and we've not spoken about any news, which I think is quite refreshing. Actually, I don't know about you guys. I've just enjoyed talking about.
Can we have one more thing?
Nick's favourite phones. One more thing. Let's go for one more thing, Rob.
Tell us about your water machine. You've got a new water machine.
My water machine.
And
That's
specifically,
where this
what I
water
want to know is how you prevent Harrison from unleashing boiling hot water directly into his eye.
Two ways to stop that happening. One of them is there's a child lock on it. And when the guy installed it, he said, there is a child lock. Do you want it turning on? And we thought about it, and we thought, no, let's try and educate him instead. Let's see how. And bless him, oh my gosh, touch wood, he completely gets it. So Harrison's pretty good. If you say to him, you can press that button, but do not press that button, he gets it.
So
and he'll tell
he
him.
hasn't
So if someone
accidentally
comes round,
boiled the
he'll say,
dog yet.
What's that?
He hasn't accidentally boiled the dog yet.
Not yet. That could still happen. But when people come around now, he shows them the water thing and says, I can press that button, but not that one. So far it's worked. But yeah, you can put the child lock thing on if you want to.
So what have you got? A built-in tap with a hot and boiling filter and all that stuff? Have you? What is
It's
it?
by a company called Our Tap, not sponsoring this particular podcast. Should mention that. But it's it's basically a device that you plumb into your cold water feed, and it gives you cold filtered water. I think it's like 4 times filtered and UV light and stuff. And then fairly instant boiling water. You have to wait for it to warm up a bit, but and I don't drink enough. I've never drank enough water at all, mainly because I find it really boring and I just can't be bothered. But again, the guy who installed it, he did, and he's going to say this obviously, but he said you just will drink more water because it just tastes better. And I think what it is, it hasn't got that aftertaste. It just tastes nice. It's all right.
Well, it's funny actually because we're going way off piste here, but water, our water in Telford, I don't know if you know from your sister, but the water is so hard here. So we have to descale kettles once a month. So I buy crates of water, in big bottles and to drink. But since I've been buying this bottled water, I drink so much more water. I think it kind of solidified it when I came back from Bali, where you're drinking bottled water because you can't drink the local water, and then coming back and drinking the tap water, it was rank. So I drink so much more water now it's filtered and fresh. So I totally get it. So
But you're now ingesting a large amount of microplastics, which the mega tap or whatever it's called, what's it called?
Our Tap.
That filters out
Stops that.
microplastics, doesn't it?
Does that? It gets rid of hormones as well. Apparently, I didn't know that was a thing, but you can't. There's no
Is that a big
hormones in it.
problem, is it?
Apparently.
I did used to have a Brita filter plumbed into my sink at an old house, and that did a good job. But I had to change the filter once every 4 or 5 months, so it was a bit uneconomic.
This thing has a filter in it, but they send you a filter every 6 months or something. It's not cheap.
Okay.
It's about 36 quid a month. But I guess if you think about what you might be spending on bottled water and that stuff, I don't know. In theory, it should be.
And your health.
And your health.
Yeah.
It's all about that, isn't it? Water's good for you. How did we get on to speaking about... We went from Rob's work situation to eventually to water filtration.
That's it. Well, that's when you get when you're just chit-chatting. Just
You do.
Yeah, that's it. Loved it.
Nick, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. It won't be the last time, obviously. I know you've got a long trip tomorrow as well, so I do appreciate you coming on and chewing this.
Actually, we've overrun by 20 minutes. Sorry, Nick. Sorry about that.
No. Honestly, it's been I'm quite like a newbie when it comes to podcasts. So like I could chat all day. I hope. But thanks for having me on. It's been a long time. We mentioned it about 6 months ago, didn't we? About potentially having a chat. So it's been nice to finally get around to it. And I've enjoyed it. Thanks for your time. I know it's a time-consuming thing, but it's been good.
Thanks, Nick. We appreciate it, and we'll chat again soon.
Absolutely. Lovely.
And
have a nice evening.
Rob.
See you again.
Yeah, we won't wait as long for the next one, I promise. Or maybe we will. Who knows? Cheers.
See ya.